Hey everybody, so welcome back to Jim Bob's Garden. So today what I want to talk about is the pursuit of perfection. Okay, so I don't. Alright, I don't pursue perfection, and I want to show you why. So let's look at these potatoes for example. Today I went through and I weeded them out, and I probably pulled 3 buckets full of weeds out of here. But you can see there's supposed to have been a potato there, and it didn't come up. Supposed to have been a potato there, and it didn't come up. And then if you look over here, you'll see my kohlrabi, which is looking kind of sad, but the stinking ducks really thought it was tasty, so they started eating it. So basically, this is not a perfect potato garden. I should, however, get a whole bunch of potatoes out of there. All right, let's look over here at my garlic. So the garlic has all flopped over and is looking like it's dying. Now I have no idea why it doesn't want to play. And then I planted garlic, which by the way, I actually tried to do the cold stratification thing, and none of that stuff that I put the cold stratification on worked at all. I've done it before without doing the cold stratification, without putting it in the refrigerator for, you know, a month or better. And I grew garlic just fine. So I'm not going to do that again. I think that might be a mistake. But anyway, so obviously my garlic didn't do well here. But if you look over here, along this line right here, we have a whole bunch of really nice garlic, which seems to be doing just fine. Okay? So basically my issue with the perfection thing is that we spend so much time trying to figure out what's wrong. Let me show you a great example right over here. And we'll walk backwards. Beep, beep, beep. Okay. So you look down here, and I got some problems with one of my cucumbers. So I'm going to come through and I'll cut those leaves off. But I can spend, you know, 50 bucks on trying to find a solution to save my cucumbers from dying, when I could go buy a whole bunch of cucumbers for 50 bucks. You know, and if you look around, you can see I've got a ton of stuff growing. I mean, I've got radishes, cucumbers, squash, watermelon, cantaloupe. I've got tomatoes in the back. I've got peas growing over here. And I've done it all without buying any kind of fertilizer, without buying any kind of bug killer, without buying anything to, you know, try and deal with, you know, problematic issues on my plants. I mean, these cucumbers over here, come on into my garden. These cucumbers over here are looking kind of sad. They are the Muncher variety, and for some reason they just don't want to take off. I mean, they were planted at the same time as these cucumbers here, which look a lot better. Now, I imagine the soil is a lot better. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to let them grow and see what happens. I might put some compost tea on them because they're free, because it's free rather. But it's the same thing with this tomato over here. So let me show you this tomato. Matter of fact, I'm going to pick this tomato because the vine is dying. So this tomato is a Ethiopian black, and I'm going to pick it because it looks like it's going to die. But you can see that it looks like it's just had it. Now this one back here is a cutting I just today took off of another one I have over there. And what I'll do, this will grow, and once it, you know, starts taking up some moisture, it'll perk right back up and it'll grow, and I'll have a new Ethiopian black here, and I'll tear this one out because obviously this is not looking good. I mean, what happened? I don't know. I mean, I could spend days and days and tons of money trying to figure out what caused my tomato to die, or I could just plant another one. All right. So what I'm trying to tell you is, don't get wrapped up in the pursuit of perfection. When you do that, you're going to spend a lot of money, you're going to have a lot of heartache, and I think that in the end, you're probably not going to grow a whole lot more than you would have had you not done the pursuit of perfection. You might have prettier plants, you can show them off and tell everybody, man, look how nice my plants are. And that's fine if that's what you're into. But if it comes to growing food, I will grow food just fine. As you can see, Most of my tomatoes here are doing just fine. I mean, I need to water them. It's the heat of the day right now. It's like, what, 4 o'clock? So they're drooping a bit, but you know, if you pan around here and look at the garden, I mean, I have a ton of food growing, right? All kinds of different things. Some of it hasn't flowered yet, or it hasn't fruited yet. And you know, it'll be a little bit, and pretty soon I'll probably have so much food that I won't be able to eat it all. I'll have to figure out a way to store it all. And that's a wonderful thing, all right? But it's that pursuit of perfection that drives people to buy high-dollar soils, that drives people to go out and buy fertilizer. And fertilizer is a bad thing, okay? It's just not good for the environment. And it tends to kill off the life in the soil. I'm trying to build life in my soil rather than, and you know, have the soil come to life and be more fertile in and of itself, rather than trying to feed my plants. Because once you start to feed something, it's just like, you know, an animal. If you take a wild animal, domesticate it, you got to feed it. If you had not done that, it would have done just fine on its own. And it's kind of the same thing with plants. We can make these plants grow without feeding them, other than compost. All right, and compost just enriches the soil and gets that life back in the soil, and it's that life that creates the food for the plants. And by creating that life in the soil, you will create a fertile, wonderful garden that you won't have to constantly feed. You won't have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. For me, it's really not, I mean, yeah, the environmental thing is important to me, but it's really about the money. I don't want to go spend, you know, 50 bucks per tomato. I mean, if I'm spending 50 bucks on a tomato, why would I do that? Why not just go buy tomatoes? All right, so that's my take on things. Stop trying to chase down perfection. Stop trying to have that perfect plant. Stop freaking out every time one of your plants dies or starts to look a little bit ugly. Maybe remove it, maybe chop it back a little bit, see if it continues to grow. If not, take it out and plant something else. All right, that's my take on things. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know if you think it's important to actually do that, to chase down that perfection. But either way, give me, you know, your thoughts on what I'm talking about. So thanks once again for stopping by. Do me a favor, give me a like and a subscribe, and let me know what you think. But most importantly, grow something, even if it's not perfect.